Hello, I'm Isabella, and today we're going to talk about some weight loss tips. So just a couple of disclaimers before I get started. One, I am no nutrition expert. These are all based off of my own experience and what really helped me lose weight and keep it off in the long term. And two, if you are like 12 years old, please click off this video. And this is the safest way I can think of to lose weight. But honestly, if you're 12, don't be pressured by the media, because I was, and yeah, at the age of 11, I really started restricting my calories and it was really unhealthy. So yeah, if you're like 10 to 12, go to my body image video, which will be up soon. So yeah, let's just hop right in. Tip number one is to eat enough calories. I cannot say that enough. The first time I was losing weight back in 8th grade, I ate 1,500 calories a day or less, and I was 13 years old. And yes, I did lose 30 pounds successfully, but I was so hungry all the time and it was miserable and I was not enjoying myself at all. So this time around, I'm eating 1,800 to 2,000 calories per day, and I'm 5'8" and I work out about 5 to 6 days a week. So just find what works for you, and especially if you are a teenager, never eat under 1,200 calories, because that's just very unhealthy and it can spiral into an eating disorder, and yeah, it's just not healthy. So eat enough calories. Tip number two is to set a date for a cheat day. This really helps you to stay on track. It's really been helping me, and my next cheat day is going to be on March 6th. I like to have them about once a month, and this really helps you to avoid temptations. Like when you see something in the grocery store and you really want it, you can have it, but you can have it on your cheat day. And this really helps me to like stay on track, because I know I can eat the food, just not every day, you know? And that brings me to the next point, tip number three, which is to not completely eliminate all the foods you enjoy, because then you'll just be like, forget this, you know? Just make healthy versions of them, and that really helps. Like my favorite, I will mention it later, but it's basically like healthy Nutella on toast with strawberries, and oh, so delicious. I like to have that when I get home from school. That way I'm satisfied and it's full of protein. And yeah, tip number four is to find the reason you want to lose weight and write it somewhere. That way you know why you want to lose weight, and it will help you on the days when you're unmotivated. If that reason is to look a certain way, find a better reason. Rather, how about to feel a certain way, both physically and mentally? It helped you feel more confident, and you don't eat all that junk food, which makes you feel horrible. Just think about how you feel when you eat healthy food and when you eat junk food. And that brings me to my next point, point five, which is think about how the foods you eat make you feel. So when you eat junk food, I feel really lethargic and I get a pounding headache, and that just lasts all day and prevents me from doing daily tasks. When I eat healthy food, I feel so energetic and confident. It's so good, and it makes me feel healthy, which is good, of course. And yeah, just when you eat your next meal, think about how what you're eating makes you feel. That will really help you to find another reason to be healthy. Tip number six was something that I did before. It ultimately resulted in me never being satisfied with my weight loss. I lost 30 pounds and I came down to a healthy weight, and I was still not happy because I still didn't look like those thin models that I looked at for inspiration. 95% of women, it's impossible to achieve that body type because it's just a different body type, and they exercise for a living, they eat healthy for a living. Their job is to look perfect. It's not realistic for the everyday person to look just like that. And that should not be our goal. Tip number 7 is to start focusing on nutrient density and avoid empty calories. When you eat nutrient dense foods, your body gets the nutrition it needs, which is what eating is meant for in the first place. We've seemed to have forgotten that in this day and time. Anyway, avoid empty calories. Foods that have little to no nutritional value for the amount of calories you're eating. And instead eat foods that are full of nutrients, and that will help you a lot in sticking to your calorie goal. Tip number 8, you might have heard before, which is to eat on smaller plates, but it really works. I've started eating on salad plates rather than the big ones, and it helps me feel fuller faster. Tip number 9 is another that you might have heard before, but again, it works. It's if you catch yourself eating too fast, try holding your fork with your non-dominant hand. That really helps me slow down. Like last night I was eating pasta and I was just like, and holding it with my left hand really helped me to eat at a more normal pace. Tip number 10 is if you're feeling a little bit peckish and not actually hungry, have a snack that's low in caloric density and lots of water. I like to have like a bowl of sea salt popcorn or some carrot sticks with hummus. It's high in volume, so it fills me up and keeps me from eating the Oreos. Tip number 11 is if you have a time of day that's your weakness. For me, it was when I get home from school. During that time, you want to have a protein-rich snack. My favorite is to toast 2 pieces of whole grain bread. I like Dave's Killer Bread. And then you take 1 tablespoon of almond butter, 1 tablespoon of cocoa powder, and 1 tablespoon of maple syrup. Mix that all together, and then you just chop up a few strawberries, and then you spread the Nutella spread, that's what it tastes like, onto the bread, and you top it with the strawberries, and it's so delicious. It's so yummy, and it's very filling. Tip number 12 is to have 1 small treat per day, but never eat it at your weakness time if you have one. So for me, I would never eat it after I get home from school. So instead I eat it after dinner has settled. And my favorite snack that I like to have pretty much every day is vegan Halo Top. If you don't know what that is, it's basically like healthy ice cream. You can find it in like the freezer section or the produce, near the produce. And it is so good. And it's really low calories, so it's really not that bad for you at all. And it's so good. I can't even. But I like to have like a third of that pint. It's a really good treat. Tip number 13 is to eat more fruits and vegetables. I know it's cliche, but fruit and vegetables are really high in volume but low in calories. And they're also really high in nutrients, of course. Try to eat your 5 to 9 fruits and vegetables, but don't just throw it on there right away and overwhelm yourself, you know? You gotta kind of wean into it. So I like to put another fruit or vegetable in my diet per week and maybe subtract one of those unhealthy foods. Tip number 14 is to always eat breakfast. I cannot stress this enough. I don't understand how people can eat breakfast. And don't just eat breakfast. Have a filling breakfast. I find on the days when I have oatmeal, I'm less likely to binge out later because then I'm full, I'm satisfied, and eating a good breakfast really helps set you up for a good day of eating. And finally, the last tip, tip number 15, is remember this is a lifestyle change, not just a diet. Find foods and exercises that you genuinely enjoy and that you can see yourself following for the rest of your life. Start exercising and find an exercise that you genuinely enjoy. And you might not enjoy exercise at first. No matter what you do, if you're like really get tired really easily, but eventually you will, I promise. Exercise with friends, kickboxing, dancing. we just dance and we Zumba. High intensity interval training. You don't have to just run on the treadmill, that's boring. I have one more tip that I don't really know if I mentioned, but it's really important. It's to just wean into your diet really slowly, because you're gonna overwhelm yourself if you just like Harold and all at once. And yeah, some people can go cold turkey and change it all in one day, but if you're anything like me, I'm not one of those people. So yeah, just kind of slowly take out junk food, slowly add in healthier foods, and yeah, that will really help you to do this in the long term. So there you have it. 16 tips to lose weight and keep it off in the long term. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!